Hi, everybody. Amber here. Welcome back to In Conversation with ATF. My guest today hails from Canada. He is best known as the voice of Cable and also Captain America in X-Men the Animated Series. He then came back to the X-Men franchise to voice X-Cutioner, also known as Denti, in X-Men 97. He has also voiced characters such as Raven in Gargoyles, Kortan in Highlander, the animated series. Inka Dinka Doo in Donkey Kong Country, Zilla in My Dad The Rockstar, Professor X in X-Men Mutant Academy, and more. His live action roles include Davenport in La Femme Nikita, Caitlin's dad in Mohawk Girls, Victor Pearson in Stranger Days at Blake Halsey High, and other credits include Red Ketchup, Capcom Fighting Evolution, Street Fighter 3, Third Strike, Mythic Warriors, Guardians of the Legend, The Neverending Story, the animated show, Tales from the Crypt Keeper, Far Cry 5, and more. My guest is Lawrence Bayne. Welcome, Lawrence.
Thank you,
Hi.
Amber. Thank you for seeing me.
Oh, you're welcome. Honestly, it's so great to talk to you. I'm slowly getting members of the X-Men cast onto my show, so I'm proud to say
Yep.
that I think you are the first from the main original cast.
Yay! Me
Yay!
first. Yay!
Woo! Yes, because it was going to be Cal Dodd, and then he had to end up postponing it. So technically, yeah, you are the first because we have now started recording.
Right.
Awesome. Right. So I'm going to start off by asking, how are you doing today? How are you?
Today has been crazy. I know I had to put you off an hour because of an audition that I'm doing, which of course
Mhm.
under non-disclosure agreements I cannot share. This was the wardrobe I wore, if it gives you any idea at all, but
Mhm.
probably doesn't. And I had to put you off to get my reader over here. As you know, since the pandemic struck, a lot of our auditions are now being done at home. So
Yeah.
we require a reader off camera, and sometimes they're a little hard to find. I'm a solitary man, so I have to go and find my readers when I can. And today
Mhm.
was my brother who came in. And so that was very busy to do. And the audition came in for me Friday, and I've literally been working on it nonstop so that I could be off book today. Some auditions you can be off book for and should be, and others, you can sort of read and look up at the camera and do your thing if you can get enough of the gist of the character. But this one I wanted to be completely memorized and off book, and I was, and I'm very happy with the work. But I'm a little exhausted. You're thinking about a role for 2 days running and running, walking around your house, mumbling the lines over and over again. It really does. I mean, obviously it's not digging ditches, but it is a little hard on you after a while.
Yeah, yeah. Well, at least now you can sit down, relax, and have a lovely chat with me.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Awesome. I keep saying awesome. I need to think of some more vocabulary.
No.
Anyways, obviously I've been through a little bit of your resume and stuff that you've done, and
Yep.
I've also found out some really fun facts about you. And we were just talking about it before. Now I've got to bring it up as the first topic.
Okay.
Some people may or may not know, but Lawrence was actually in a Pink Floyd music video. It was for Learning to Fly. Tell me a little bit about that. Whenabouts was it filmed, and where in the UK was it filmed?
It wasn't filmed in the UK. It was filmed in Canada. It was
I thought
filmed
you
in
said you
Calgary.
said something about you flew to the
Oh,
UK.
I flew to the UK, and it was all over the TV at the time, and it was
Oh
showing.
right,
But no,
okay.
I didn't.
I was
I didn't.
wondering where the mountains were in the music video.
Yes, it was filmed. It was filmed in Black Rock, Black Diamond, Alberta,
Oh
and
wow, okay.
David Gilmour was there. And
Mm-hmm.
oddly enough, coincidentally enough, the film is called Learning to Fly, and it was the first time I had ever been on a commercial airline, and then a first time I'd ever been on a helicopter, and the
Mm-hmm.
first time I'd ever been in a biplane, which was a stunt plane. And the CBS executives weren't too happy that I went up with the stunt driver and he was doing barrel rolls and dives with their talent up in the sky. But I had a great time doing it. I believe it was around 1985. It pretty much launched my career.
Oh wow.
After that, I had that to show to agents, and a pretty extensive resume of plays that I'd done in university to prove that I was actually an actor and not just a handsome guy in a video. So It did launch my career because it played everywhere for the longest time, and everybody was going, "Who's that guy?" And finally, I've got myself a fantastic agent by the name of Carrie Follis, who retired recently, but she was my agent for 19 years.
Wow.
And I'm still at it 30 years later. So pretty good.
That is great. How did you get cast in that video? Did they sort of like scout you
Oh,
out
that's
with
just
your
another nightmare of a story. I've got this down to a quick nugget of a story. Saturday morning, hungover like crazy, phone call from not an agent, but somebody who was interested in being my agent, saying there's a video, there's a an audition for a video today for Pink Floyd. And I'm hungover like crazy. And my friend is too, but he looks at me, he goes, "Pink Floyd, man, you got to go." So I go. And I walk into a room of literally 200 people. There's children who are in another version of the video. There were and their mothers and fathers, and it is just cacophony. It is absolute noise. I finally get invited into a room where there's about 20 people, all working for CBS, and they're ignoring me. And so I used to be a mime, so I did this mime lean and pretended to drink while they ignored me. And finally, one of them looked up and said to Storm Thorgerson. Storm Thorgerson was my director, and he did all the artwork for the Yes albums, the Yes band albums, and all the artwork for Hypnosis for Pink Floyd. He was the director, Cockney bulldog of a man. And he goes, "Hey, you, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm bored." And I said, and I left. And I left. And I thought, well, that's that. They called me back. And 2 days later, I was on a plane and I was filming it. So it was luck all round. It was the last time I went to an audition hungover. I can tell you that.
Oh, that is so cool! Wow, honestly, that's just that was the start of your career. Everything
That's
just
the start of the career. After that,
bigger and bigger
after
and
that,
bigger.
Yep. Well, bigger and bigger, but more diverse too. Obviously, I didn't want to do music videos. I wanted to use my voice as well. And it took another 5 or 6 years to get into voice work. But voice work is really my passion. I like doing accents. I can do lots of them. I can scream, and I can do stuff for preschool kids, and I can scare the shit out of their parents at the same time. So fun to do. It's fun to do voice, and you don't have to shave every day. So it's fun.
No, you don't have to worry about what you have to wear as well. You could just come into
That's
the studio
true.
in your PJs and stuff, and just
don't be rude. Always have a shower, but you don't have to check for parsley between your teeth or anything. So.
Oh yeah. So I presume X-Men the animated series was your first voiceover gig.
No, it wasn't. I'd done some stuff prior to that, which I really don't remember because again, X-Men took off. We were all really surprised at how successful it was. But X-Men was the first time that I was allowed to do utilitarian and multi voices.
Ooh.
Still hearing me, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm not hearing you, but that happens.
Oh, you're not hearing me? Oh, no.
Here we go. Hold on. I have this speaker here that clocks out on its own. Yes. Now, you're there again? Okay, hold on.
Can you hear me? I was just miming.
I can hear you. My system is locked up here. Hold on a second. It's so crazy. It is so nuts. There we go. Let's try this again.
Everybody.
And
awesome.
There we go.
So fixed it.
Okay.
Fixed the audio problem.
So what was I talking about?
X-Men took off, essentially.
X-Men took off. And oh yes, I was talking about the fact that they let me do all sorts of different voices on it.
Yeah.
And that showed directors and people in the business that I had some range in my voice, and that led to lots of other great stuff. I did Ace Ventura, the animated series, and did a lot of crazy. I didn't do his voice, but I did lots of crazy voices, some of which would be considered inappropriate now because they were bad accents of Chinese and Hispanic people.
Oh, yeah.
I've played, on camera, I've played Hispanic people as well and Russian because of the accent. So, yeah, it took off for me and it opened a lot more doors. So I was very happy to be invited back. That was really cool after
Yeah.
that long. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing that did interest me is that I found out you were originally in the running for Wolverine. You had auditioned to be the voice of Wolverine
Well,
for
that's a
X-Men
great
the
story.
animated series.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a
I want to
that's a
hear
great
it.
story. So Cal Dodd and I are buddies, and we would find ourselves at auditions together because Cal is growly and got gravitas in his voice like me. And so we would meet at auditions. We were friendly enough because people in the voice business aren't like actors. They're just a lot more chummy with each other.
The people.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
but Todd, see, Cal's a singer as well. So this is the story. I went in to do Wolverine. He went in to do Wolverine. We were neck and neck for a while, and they went with Cal, and that's the business, and that's fine. But Cal and I later on were in the same running for My Dad the Rockstar, Rockzilla.
Ooh.
Now, Rockzilla was a character invented by Gene Simmons from Kiss,
Uh-huh.
and he wanted, a crazy rock star kind of guy. And so I was great at that, woohoo, party hard. But, it was aimed at 10-year-olds. So you couldn't party too hard.
Yeah.
But Cal went in, and I heard him because Cal's a singer. He went in and started singing for them. And I thought, well, so what? I'm in a band too. I'm going to get him this time. So I went in and I got the role without singing. I didn't ask Cal to sing. He just volunteered, apparently.
Yeah.
But I went in and did the rock star guy. Hey, Willie, that kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they later on, I got hired for it. And I said, okay, that's fine, but I want to sing because I know there's singing parts in this. He's a rock star. There's going to be songs, correct? And they went, yes. I said, well, I want to sing. And they said, well, we've got somebody else for that. And I said, no, you don't. Because if I don't get it, I don't want the part. So they said, well, we'll put you in the studio tomorrow. And Gene Simmons hired a musician. Guy came in with the drum machine and electric guitar, and I sang rock and roll all night and party every day. And I got the part, and I got to sing in it as well. So I beat Cal on that one. He beat me
Yeah.
on Wolverine, but I beat him on
You
My
got
Dad
your
the
own
Rockstar.
back.
Yeah,
You
I
got your
got
own back. And it's like apparently, as I saw on IMDb, that Gene Simmons himself picked you
yep,
to be
yep.
to be Rockzilla.
Well, he's very hands-on in the project. I mean, it was about his son and about him, and as a character representation, and he wanted it to be funny, and he wanted the rock star guy to be crazy and wild.
Mm-hmm.
And so out of all the auditions, yeah, he picked me because I went full barrel. When he said woohoo, I went woohoo, like, and everything was just, exciting, like, God, it's so great being a rock star.
I just don't feel like they do a lot of those shows anymore where it's like celebrities, not celebrities, but like not just celebrities, singers, like self-insert them into a cartoon. It's like a fictional version of themselves.
Yeah.
I feel as if they don't do a lot of that anymore. And
I
it's
don't
just sad
think they
because I
did it.
love that genre
I
of
think I
cartoon.
think it was a very, very original show when it came out because it had to do more with the son dealing with living with a rock star. My Dad the Rockstar. So
Yeah.
we had this son dealing with the fact of being famous and them finally settling down and getting off the road and living in this mansion. And the interesting part is that my son was voiced by Joanne Vanicola, who uh,
Oh.
who is a part of the LGBT community, and is was wonderful to work with, and just had that voice of a snide, you know, sort of lost little boy, and fantastic working with her, and the legendary Don Franks worked on that as well. I don't know if you know Don, but Don is a Canadian icon to voice and
Yes.
camera. So I'm working with Don every week was a way to connect to the rock star thing because Don was a rock star, and so it was fun.
Yeah, that's an Don because I believe he was Cree Summer's dad, I believe.
Yeah, it's Cree
You
Summer's
know who
dad.
Cree
Sure.
Summer is, yeah,
Yeah, of
yeah.
course I do. Yeah, so no Cree.
Yeah, I haven't had her on my show yet, but she's really nice from what I've heard. So,
Yeah, yeah, she is.
awesome. Well, okay. I keep saying I don't know why I've got just the word awesome stuck in my head. I don't know why I
I've
keep saying it. I
I've
need to.
heard it, at least you're not saying basically all the time. I think, and literally, basically and literally, I keep hearing that from people who don't even know what they're saying. Literally, I was dying. No, see, literally, if you were dying, you'd be dying, right? But anyway, yes, there are speech patterns that really annoy me. Now, awesome doesn't really annoy me yet, but yeah, you gotta expand that repertoire just a little bit there.
Okay. So basically, we're gonna go. So basically, we're gonna go back to the X-Men franchise now.
Okay, let's
Um,
do that. Let's
um,
do
uh,
that.
I presume you obviously all did a group records with Dan Hennessy, who was your voice director.
Yes, Dan was the one who
Mm-hmm.
crafted Cable with me. Um,
Awesome.
I came in and said, I came in and did some kind of tough guy thing, like a little over the top, and he said, "Lawrence, your own voice is scary enough. Just read the lines for me as basically as you can." And just to breathe and calm yourself in, because I came in all roughed up, ready to go, and he just said, "No, all you got to do is talk like this. All you got to be is yourself. Just put it in a nice low register." So Dan was very helpful in the creation of the voice.
That is awesome. And of course you're working with all these amazing people, as we spoke about him before, Chris Potter, and
No,
then
I
of
wasn't
course
working with Chris Potter. Chris Potter wasn't in the original TAS. Nowhere near it.
was he not?
No, he was not.
I swear he was Gambit. Wait, what?
No, he was not. He was not Gambit. Aid Huff was, I believe, back then. Might have been
I
somebody else, but Chris Potter had nothing to do with TAS. Zero.
what? I never. I am so confused. It feels like my brain is just shut down.
No.
Gambit voice. Okay, I've got to try and check this myself because it keeps saying Chris Potter voiced him in X-Men the animated
Nope.
series. And then Tony Daniels took over in the final season.
Tony Daniels did maybe one, two, maybe three episodes. Tony Daniels has conflated his appearances on TAS as well.
Well, I don't. Well, who voiced Gambit? Because like every single source I'm seeing online says Chris Potter.
Nope. Not Chris Potter. And I don't know who it is now. I'm not sure if it was Aid Huff or not, but it definitely was not Chris Potter.
Oh, it was AJ Locascio in '97.
Yes, that's 97. If you're talking about
Yes.
TAS, that's okay. Well, what are we talking about? If we're talking about TAS and talking about the groups of us, that's when it happened, because it doesn't happen anymore.
I don't know. So who voiced Gambit then?
I'm not certain now. You've got me confused, but I can assure
You
you,
said Adrian Huff,
Adrian
the
Huff may
same
have
voice
did
as
Gambit.
Nightcrawler.
Yes, he came back as Nightcrawler. Yes,
Yes.
but we got some of us got reassigned, and Aid Huff and I were one of them. But no, I can assure you, no Chris Potter, nowhere near X-Men TAS.
That is a huge mystery. Well, I wonder what's happened then, because like
I don't know. The internet lies. Internet lies a great deal. Don't take what they say completely. Just don't do it.
We're gonna have to just go on a massive hunt now to find out who the real voice of Gambit was.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Well, I believe so. Was it Tony Daniels in season 5? I believe it might have been.
I never met Tony on set once. I never met him once. So I don't know. I know he's said he's been in X-Men and involved in X-Men, but literally he was in 2 episodes or 3 episodes that I know
Who
of.
was he in X-Men? I'm trying to think who else he was, because he was another character. It just says he was Gambit. I swear he was another character. Okay, this is confusing me now. Okay,
Yeah,
like a huge rabbit hole.
If we can pass on Tony Daniels and whoever did Gambit, that would be great.
Okay, well, in that case, I've got to obviously talk about some of the other voice actors. So you've got George Boozer, Alison Seeley Smith, who else is there? Alison Court, Lenore Zahn. So all these wonderful people that you've worked with.
Yep.
Really, what was it like?
Well, back then we could all stand in the studio at the same time. And so they'd set up, 4, 5, 6 mics, and we'd all be in there just reading and having a whale of a time and smoking, believe it or not. And like the things that have changed are just crazy. And and it was fun because you could actually do a little bit of acting. You wouldn't just stand there and read. Some of us do, but some of us get a little more expressive. I know I am very expressive when I do
Yeah.
voice work.
Hmm.
Others can just point at the mic and do it, but the camaraderie that's allowed to you, when they say cut, obviously we're gabbing away like magpies at each other, and that's a lot of fun. And they were a fun group to work with. There wasn't a difficult person among them, so all of us had a great time doing it. And I think that that communicated to the actual finished piece too. You could tell these people were actually hanging out together. You got a group of animated characters hanging out on screen. They're obviously going to sound more authentic if they're allowed to hang out together doing that work. And those
Yeah,
days are gone. Those days are gone, and they will never return. We now do
that's the
everything
sad
remote,
thing.
and we now do everything separate. And so I miss those days because that wasn't the only one. I mean, I did Gargoyles in LA with pretty much the entire cast of Star Trek: The New Generation, who were part of that as voices, Marina Sirtis and Christopher Frakes, Frackers, or whatever. But we were all doing the same thing there. We were all sitting in a circle and having a jolly old time, and then doing the work.
Yeah. Wow. So, how did it feel to sort of return to the franchise of X-Men for 97?
Well, it was great because I was in the same studio, obviously under completely different conditions, and I was
Yeah.
alone. But it was
Mhm.
like revisiting the old studio and going, oh, I remember the stuff we used to get up to in here. And I did a lot of work at Sounds Interchange where this was where it was filmed or recorded. I did a lot of work there. I was practically a mainstay in that building for about 5 years. So doing all manner of different animation work. So it's an old haunt to me. So, and some of the staff are still there. Some of the crew are still there. So,
Mhm.
yeah, we always go in and tell a few war stories and have a bit of fun. Maybe sometimes head south a bit to the bar, to Boozer, and have a drink. And so, yeah, it's been that was fun.
Cool. You weren't at the premiere that happened in March, were you?
Nope.
Oh, that's yeah. I wasn't, there as press, but the after party was being held in the hotel I was currently staying at, so I kind of mingled among everyone. I didn't recognize a lot of people because at the time, I wasn't into X-Men like I am now. So
Right.
I was sort of involved, I suppose. I didn't get to watch it until it actually came out on Disney Plus though.
Right.
Yeah. From what I saw, it was civil.
We can be
I
civil. I think you find
I
voice actors can be civil.
very, very,
Yeah.
honestly. I've just got it like I didn't like properly, get into sort of recognizing anyone because like I would have recognized Lenore, Cal, and Allison, definitely.
Mhm.
Just wow. Wish you could just time travel back and then just like sort of change the day. But
Right.
yeah, that's in the past now. It's also not just Cable and execute sorry. I've just tripped over my words. I'm so sorry. Executioner. Is that his? I just
Executioner.
executioner.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, is it execute? Yeah, I was gonna say, is it Xer or just X? I
I
don't
think
know.
it's just executioner. That's the way it's spelled anyway.
Ah, right. Okay.
X hyphen. So
Yeah. You've also played Professor X as well
yeah, well,
in video game.
you're gonna ask me to remember that, and I really don't.
You don't
Um,
remember that? That's
I
okay.
don't
We
remember
can
that because it
cross
was
it off.
probably 20 minutes of work on one day. So I mean, I know I did it. I I I you read back some of those things, and Inka Dinka Doo was hilarious because I'd go in every week, week after week, and I'd say the same thing over and over again, and I got paid, and I thought it was lovely. But there's some animation work I would have to say with complete honesty I don't remember doing. For me, it was 20 minutes work. For other people, I get thanked for changing their lives, and it freaks me out because I don't remember doing the work. Because I was
Well,
partying pretty hard back in the early days too. So
yeah, yeah. So, but honestly, I mean, at least you've changed someone's life. You've made someone happier
it's
with a
lovely.
specific role.
It's lovely when someone comes up and says, you were the voice in my head when I was growing up. And I was like, wow, sorry. But
Sorry for haunting your thoughts.
sorry about that. But yeah, it's gratifying. I think people who gravitate towards animated work, I mean, they really dig into it. doing a Comic-Con and having somebody come up and have a schematic of your clothing that you wore and the every breakdown of every episode, and I've had to research my own stuff so that I could talk to the fans, to say, yeah, I remember that, and looking up some of the stuff about the characters I remembered what I did in the studio for it, but like I say, sometimes it just sort of fades into the mist,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's totally understandable, honestly. But there is one you may remember thoroughly, and that's the topic we're going to end on because we've only got about 5 minutes left of the sort of,
Okay,
the half an
sure.
hour total. Highlander, the animated series, you were the voice of
Kortan.
Kortan. Awesome.
Kortan. I love doing Kortan. He was just pure evil every week. For weeks and weeks, man, I did that. I loved Highlander because Kortan was just straight out growl and evil. And I really learned how to be various degrees of bad guy through doing Kortan as constantly as I did. I really do remember him because he was just so unremittingly evil. He had no redemptive qualities whatsoever. So I really enjoyed just going in there and torturing people and yelling and being nasty. It was fun. So Kortan was fun.
Thank you, Lawrence, for doing the voice. It really very brave, and my cheeks are smiling. But honestly, like, I wasn't that familiar with the show at first. Like, my brother has. Obviously, it's hard to explain, but I'm trying to explain it in like the easiest way possible. So in the UK, there was a sort of line of kids club DVDs that were released by a company called VCI, Granada, sort of that sort of thing.
Right.
So to do with ITV or something like that. But it was sort of stuff that aired on children's ITV, CITV in the UK. I'm not sure what channel Highlander aired on, but we got a Highlander DVD, and it has on it The Sound of Madness and The Suspended Village, and Kortan is mentioned in both bios, so I presume he's
Well, Kortan was almost in every episode too. That's what I loved about him. He generally showed up and did something. Even if he only had one line, "Go out and destroy them." That was it. They'd go home. It was great. Nice paycheck. Oh, lovely. Yeah, I don't have any Highlander on DVD. I got My Dad The Rockstar, but I don't have any Highlander.
Pretty sure that's the only Highlander DVD that was released in the UK. I don't even know what channel it aired on. Honestly, as I said, I didn't know much about the show until like I started doing my homework, as I do for every interview, and then I find out you were in it. I was like, okay, I've got to watch a little bit of the show. I watched it. I was like, this is good. Oh, this is not the only DVD. They also released Exodus / The History Lesson. That is cool. That is really cool. Yeah. I didn't even know what channel it aired on in the UK. I don't even. It doesn't even say. It just.
Well, it's all right. We'll survive, both of us. Thank you for this, Amber.
You're welcome, Lawrence. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you. Now, where can we find you on the internet? Have you got any social media pages?
I'm Lawrence Bayne on Facebook, and that's all I'm going to share. I'm also on Instagram, of course, as Lawrence Bayne in one word. I don't spend a lot of time on social media. I find it interferes with my reality. My reality is not people and memes, and a lot of which I find a lot of it rather disconcerting, to be honest. It doesn't appeal to me. I should be on there, I suppose, more just to meet people like you. And but I've met enough for a while to, do the occasional podcast. But I don't hang on it much. It depresses me sometimes. So, I don't know. That's it. Well, that's all.
That's okay. I'll be more than happy to link all of your pages in the description. Just hang on real quick whilst I just do the outro, and then I'll probably say bye, adios to you.
Okay.
Awesome. Right, to you at home, thank you so much for watching this episode of In Conversation with ATF featuring the lovely Lawrence Bayne. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did filming it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you soon. Take care. Bye.